Himself bore our sins in His own body on the tree, that we, having died to sins, might live for righteousness, by whose stripes we were healed. And so Peter's basically saying that we're going through tests and trials, and we are under the pressure of those in authority. And maybe our boss, we don't like our boss. Maybe we don't like the company that a person is a part of and works for. Maybe a person doesn't like some aspect of it, and they're tired of it, and they don't want to follow. They don't want to submit. Maybe they're in a marriage. A person's in a marriage, and they just don't want to be a part of it any longer. It's finished in their minds. And we could go on and on as examples. And he says, listen, you need to be willing to stay in there. You need to be willing to submit. You need to be willing to suffer as Jesus suffered, because Jesus suffered by going to the cross. He didn't have to do that, but He did that because that was the way to save us from our sins. And he says in the process, back in verse 23, if you go back to that, Tammy, look at the last statement of verse 23. But He did not threaten. Jesus didn't retaliate. What did He do? He committed Himself who judges righteously. So He said, okay, Lord, I can't handle this. I can't do this. But You can, Lord. I'm going to trust You to get all the vengeance on that person or people that deserve it, Lord. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out ways to manipulate, to hurt someone, to get back. I'm going to trust You, God, that You're going to take care of that person. And Lord, hopefully that person will come to Jesus. Because you and I should be careful when we wish for someone's harm, especially when we say, oh, I just hope they go to hell. Do you really want a person to spend eternity in hell? No. Does a person really want that? But see, what the deal is, we get exasperated and frustrated with what's going on. And so we spout off instead of, as Jesus humbly saying, Lord, okay, I don't understand what I'm going through. I can't make sense of this, Lord. I am frustrated. Lord, I'm about the end of my rope. Lord, I'm about to give up. And my patience is about gone. But God, would You rescue me? Because I'm waiting for You. And who knows that God will come from the east or the west, and He will rescue you when you trust Him and you wait on His timing, and you don't try to do it your way. You don't presume that you know what's best and how to do it, but instead you let God work that out. You and I be faithful, and God can change those circumstances. I mean, God can change that today. You may be sitting here thinking, Pastor, you're speaking to exactly what I'm in right this minute. Well, I want to challenge you with this. If you trust God, you know what God might do between now and 3 o'clock this afternoon? He might change the circumstances of your life, and you're in a totally different light. Wouldn't that be amazing? To go home and you see an email that totally flips where you are. And you say, how in the world can this happen? It's because God is the Lord. He's Lord. Question is whether we're going to cooperate. Right? You cooperating with Jesus? Or are you wrestling, fighting with Jesus? Let's